From what I've seen, I think Zayn has the slight advantage in terms of playstyle, experience, and whatnot. Razor's not bad by any stretch of the imagination at all. Granted, I have been wrong with both of my semi-finalist picks, but I'm gonna say it's gonna be a 4-2 to Zayn, actually.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
Even though I do much prefer Razor's Civ draft here.
Yeah. Yeah, well, let's not forget because we don't. I'm going to be wrong with my prediction. Haven't seen either of them play. They are seed 3 and 4 in the tournament, so they both had an upset in their respective semi-finals, knocking out the higher seeded player, which put Soxy and Flightless Bird out of the tournament, and seed 3 and
I
4
was
up
not
into the grand
expecting
final.
that.
Yeah, I mean, usually you wouldn't, right? So Roxy reckons 4-0 to Zayn. Jordan saying 4-1 to Zayn. Tilted saying 4-1 to Rayzor. There we go. I want to back the underdog. I reckon that from what my chat's saying, they're backing Zayn for the most part. I'm going to go the underdog.
I'm really intrigued to see how greedy Razor wants to play it, because I think, again, if you're picking Burgundians, there's a certain level of greed that you want to be going for.
Yeah, absolutely.
But how greedy is it? Is it going to be like two-man saw and straight away in Castle Age sort of greedy? Is it going to be hand-cut and feudal sort of greedy? Or is it going to be like double bit axe before you click a button? That's about it.
Yeah, and I think Zayn's got to make sure he does whatever he can to not let Razor get away with any greed that he might be aiming for. Shed says Flemish or get the frick out.
I respect it. I love a good Flemish.
Me too, me too. But let's have a look at the maps here. So Razor down playing in teal, playing as the I can't help it but to say Burgundians after watching Heart raging about Burgundians. So I'll just refer to them as Burgundians. Very happy to see that he's got 2 boars well away from his opponent. That is a really nice thing about the hidden cup maps. So probably not going to see many boars being lamed. But he's scouting his resources. He's got safe wood lines at the back. Nice main gold at the back as well. It's just the front of his base is pretty open. 2 extra golds out there at the front. So it might be troublesome for him in that regard. But do you want to take us through Zayn's map?
Absolutely. Just hitting on that as well. I think for Razor's map, it's going to be a really hard Castle Age to defend that.
Yeah.
But for Zayn, on the other hand, his secondary gold towards the back, and he's got a nice berries. Honestly, this is a very defensible berries for Zayn. But if we look at his main gold, his secondary gold, his 2 stones, they are all in a little bit of a line looking to get destroyed by some siege or castle bushes. So I definitely prefer Razor's map, at least for Feudal Age. I think when it goes towards Castle Age, though, at least for Zayn, he can kind of wall up a little bit towards his front, and then he can be okay with it. Whereas Razor, good luck walling this.
Yes, basically. Sorry guys, just need to change this to best of 7, just some caster things, you know what it is.
Honestly, I really want to see Zayn scout this hill, go for like a not super aggressive feudal age, like a somewhat aggressive feudal age, just enough to punish Razor. And as I say that, he also goes and taps on a villager a couple times, causing a little bit of idle time there. And punishes the deer pushing as well.
Nice.
But yeah, goes for not a super aggressive feudal age, just enough to kind of punish Razor, and goes for a siege brush up on that hill, and then goes for like an eagle siege and monk bush. And we see them playing with a deer. I love it.
I love
this is what I do as well. If I see my opponent pushing a deer this early, I'm like, no, like come scout.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Interesting that Zayn didn't try and bother any Villets bringing in this second ball, or even the first one while he was there. I don't know off the top of my head what the rules are around laming in this event.
So it is quite literally anything goes.
That's right. Yeah, I looked up in the handbook and I clicked on the rules section, and it said basically there are no rules among legends or something like that. So, my god.
It's a Fairly quote in that area.
Gotcha.
For those who don't know Fairly is very, very well known for his rather frustrating to play against laming strategies.
Gotcha. I just want to say a quick goodbye to Roxy. Hello and goodbye. So
I
it
think
looks...
Zain is going to open with a Men-at-Arms Arch. So I could even see him going for a 4 Men-at-Arms. Oh no, Rayzor,
Yeah,
don't lose your scout in game 1.
Yeah, no, he gets away with it safely. Zayn kind of sending his vills back to work early. I think he knows that Rayzor's not going to let him get the scout, but it looks like he will be going up at 20 pop based on his loom timing. Rayzor, on the other hand, going for his 20th villager as well at the moment, but might be going for a later uptime. Yeah, 1 vill later.
I think Rayzor's going to go just for a standard scouts play and try not to... It will be greedy though. Because the thing is, if you go scouts against like a Men-at-Arms archers from Aztecs and you've got a kind of hard to defend map, it can snowball very quickly. I'd almost prefer to see Rayzor go for just a straight archers here, even though it doesn't necessarily make the most sense. And he is going for 22 pop, which might indicate that.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that from a Burgundians player. Not anyone that I've played against at my little pleb 1200 level.
And Rayzor trying to get that barracks down, but Zain being as annoying as possible with that scout.
The old deny the barracks. So Rayzor will be going up to wall that back part of his base on the right hand side. Zain are doing a good job of walling up the front of his base, yet to commit some villagers to the sides.
So I really like that Rayzor isn't going for scouts here. What I don't necessarily know that I like is he is actually making the militia. I don't think he needs to respond with militia here.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I would just open straight archers and kind of let your opponent invest into these Men-at-Arms.
Yeah, and it's so good that his scout happened to be there, so he could see that the barracks did have a flag up on it, so he knows what's coming, has time to prepare, but he is sending 5 villagers out to take the deer because Zain wouldn't let him push the deer. So that could be a bit of a predicament for him soon.
I don't like that. It's so unnecessarily greedy.
Yeah,
I'd be more focusing on walling in villages at home and getting ready for some farm.
Yeah.
And I'd be getting double bit on the way up here. I almost feel like Rayzor's forgot they can get early double bit.
I mean, it's not the most strangest. It's not the strangest thing, right, for a Burgundian player to forget that they actually can get the techs early. But Men-at-Arms will be in faster for Zain. He's walking away because he doesn't want to take this engagement until that tech comes in. And now Rayzor needs to walk away. He's going to take some bad damage here once that clicks in right now. Did manage to knock down one of them, but now he has to run. He's got 22 seconds left until his upgrade comes in.
I honestly think I'd cancel Men-at-Arms and just be happy my opponent's invested into it and DQ it.
Yeah.
It does look like he's trying to pull him back. I don't like the... Don't get Men-at-Arms here. You've already got the value you need.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Because it's not going to be a winning fight here for Rayzor. It's just going to be not as badly glued as it would be. I mean, as I say that, maybe not the best micro there from Zain.
Yeah.
But he keeps his Eagle Scout alive. And the thing is, the Eagle Scout is more important than those individual Men-at-Arms.
Absolutely. He's already got 1 range down, producing archers. Rayzor yet to place a range, so he'll be a little bit behind on his archer production. And now Zain sees that he has taken the deer out. There's no mill, there's nothing to protect those villagers, and he's walling straight into his TC, so they are going to get stuck if archers move straight there.
And then you either have to go, okay, well, I might risk losing a villager here, and I have to not delete the wall, or you delete the wall and risk the archer getting in. Rayzor not using... I really would like to see him using that 1 Men-at-Arm just to try and scout the map, because he doesn't know what's happening right now.
Absolutely. So he's getting double bit axe now, and 2 archers moving forward for Zain.
And the thing is here that as Rayzor, you can assume that there's going to be something coming, right? You don't assume that it's just going to be Men-at-Arms into nothing. Like, that is an option, but it's not the most standard option here.
Oh, kind of convenient that deer ran out just when it did. Oh, so 1 weak Vil, I don't know if she can get home. Zain could try and block her, but I don't think we'll succeed.
She's just about, yeah.
She'll be safe.
The walls from Rayzor are very nice though, so as long as this doesn't somehow get denied, I think that Rayzor's in a pretty decent to defend position.
Yeah.
He is going for that. I'm just surprised that he's being greedy with the military here. And yet he hasn't really gone for anything, like he hasn't gone for like a greedy economy as well. Like if you're going for a greedy no military approach, then you're probably wanting to get that super early double bit during Dark Age, that super early horse color. And just bow saw even.
It's just very passive from him so far. He's sitting on 31 vills compared to Zane's 29, but Zain already has a blacksmith down. Now there is the one militia that did move forward to scout up at Zane's base, but didn't really see a lot. Let me check his scouting.
He sees some farms going down.
Yeah.
That's about, I think, all he saw.
He sees some more archers coming for his base. And it's a lot of idle time from Rayzor throughout this whole process, because he had the idle time as he was walking all that way for 2 deer. Had 4 vills at one point, maybe even 5 vills walling. And now moving them around for a second wood line, as wheelbarrow is clicked from Zain. So I definitely prefer Zain's position here.
I think it's interesting because the thing is that if Rayzor gets up at roughly the same time, he will have the slightly better economy.
But he's
although
got
Aztec economy is super strong.
Yeah, Aztec economy is nice, but I feel like what Rayzor is doing is exactly what Zain wants him to do. He's playing defensive skirms, he's got 3 on the field, his base is still open, he hasn't walled the front here, so all Zain needs to do, tech into Eagles, and I think it's his game to take. I know it's very, very early to call, and I don't want to underestimate Rayzor, but I just think this has been such a strong start from Zain, and he's got the result that he is wanting.
I 100% agree with you there. Like, that is a perfect analysis, especially if we see that kind of siege workshop on that hill, or even if Zain is in the position where he can, go for a siege workshop in the middle of the gold and the stone, and then start that strong mangonel pushing.
Yeah.
And the only saving grace in that respect for Rayzor is he does have this back stone, so he can go for a castle if he needs to. But Zain is almost up to the castle age, whilst Rayzor is getting +1 defense for these skirms, and he's not going to be up for quite a while.
Yeah, he's a long way off being up. He's got less than 100 food at the moment, so he's got a long way to go. I think once Zain is castle age, he's already producing the Eagle Warriors, so I think he's going to be in a really, really winning spot.
I don't like this position for Rayzor at all. Like, again, it's just that it was greedy in quite a lot of ways, but it wasn't. Like, it wasn't greedy. Like, I think if you're going to be greedy in the situation, you have to double down. You have to go for the early bowstall. You have to go for the early horse collar. The, almost at the no military, maybe drop a tower approach.
Alright, thanks for checking in. I'm still
rather than going for this one. I won't say half-assed, because that would be an insult to Rayzor. But it is, like, halfway between being greedy and not.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Yeah. Yeah, it's not being half-assed, it's just not committing to either one or the other and just kind of sitting in the middle, just being passive, and that lets Zain get away with exactly what he wants to do. So 3 Eagles on the field now.
It's a bit like when you go for a 2 TC play. Most of the time it's just not satisfying.
You're calling me out, I do that quite often.
Oh no, I do that as well. For me, it's often because I just don't have the ego to get the 3rd TC.
Exactly, yeah. Story of my life. I would really like to see...
the 3rd TC, but...
Yeah.
Sorry,
I'd really like to see Rayzor walling the front of his base. It's not going to take a lot to do, and it could absolutely save him. And he just needs to wall and stall at this point. Now that he sees that Zain's castle age, I think we need to see that reaction.
And especially as it's not like you haven't seen some eagles coming. Like, you know eagles are coming.
Yeah.
You know it's going to get pretty ugly really soon. We do see Rayzor responding now, maybe a touch on the later end. The thing is
completely.
here, though, if Rayzor can get to Cavalier, especially decent numbers of Cavalier, Cavalier don't just win against Eagle Warriors, they kind of clap them, to be honest.
Yeah, that is true. But that's a long way off.
And then as Zain, though, you can just add some monks. And I love that Zain is like, okay, you know what? I don't really give a shit. I'm just going to die at the TC.
Exactly.
He's got the +2 defense. And this is what we were saying before, like, it was unnecessary for Rayzor. Rayzor should not be taking any damage from these initial eagles. It should be Zain having to add a siege workshop for this to really work. And look at all these farmers being like, shit, run.
And I just find it baffling that instead of just walling the front earlier, he's then had this reaction, pulling all these vills, not even keeping the eagles out, and now I think that he won't be able to come back from this at all. The archers still don't want to dive the TC, but that's okay. The eagles are doing their damage in idle time, let alone villager kills.
Eco KG is 5-0 in favor of Zain right now. And he can just keep putting some eagles in his base. It's not like this TC has Bodkin in it, so these eagles will surviving quite a while. Although that poor eagle on the gold is slowly getting pecked off
Oh
by
no.
those
Not this Grims.
javelins.
I love
Nice
that.
from Rayzor, though.
Yeah, that is true. And he has placed the 2 stables, so that it will be his plan as he hits Castle Age. But I like that Zain sent the archers over to the left-hand side. He's like, I don't want to send them under the TC. I don't have to either. Let's just send them around.
And Rayzor forced up his TC on the gold wood line.
Oh.
I think it's necessary. It's just it shouldn't be necessary. I think it's the best way of putting it.
This is quite sad to see for Rayzor. He has got 2 knights on the field. He is getting +2, but just the idle time that we've seen here. It is
And there's
massive.
only 2 knights on the field though. We'll have +2 defense soon. And even when his TC goes up, it's already the amount of damage that the eagles and archers have done is just insane. Although villager counts are surprisingly even here.
That's very
so
true.
a little more
yeah.
idle TC time.
Yeah, but this is 22 military compared to 7. Yes, villager numbers are the same, but I think Rayzor's economy is just being completely messed up with this. He's really lacking wood now, and mind you, he doesn't need it for the cavalier, for the knights at this stage, but still.
And another villager being picked off by Zain. I just love that he's, like, even though these archers aren't getting any more upgrades, they're not really doing that much. It's the fact that it makes it so that Rayzor can't place more villagers on the gold very efficiently.
And more eagles running in the top.
Eagles are diving. Oh. And I don't understand why Rayzor hasn't walled the front.
I know!
Like, maybe it's just too much pressure.
I mean,
I think that must be what it is. It's like a panicked reaction.
I think so too, and it's just a shame. It is a shame. Mind you, it wouldn't matter if he walled the front at this point because the side is open too. But this is a lot of damage. 34 villagers for Rayzor. Most of them are idle now. 14 idle. Great pressure from Zain.
And Zain's not even just making this a 1 TC all in. He's added a second TC quite a while ago. He's adding a 3rd TC now. And he's even thinking about siege to finish it off.
Yeah, sending the villager forward. He wants to end this game.
And Rayzor forced to take some market prices to get military out here. Like, it's just kind of ugly right now, isn't it?
It is,
like,
with the eagles just constantly flooding in.
And I feel for Rayzor, I've been in a situation before where eagles are just absolutely ruining my day.
Yeah, and you can't really stop them at this point. Like, you just have to mass up your knights so they actually can take out the eagles and not just get flattened one by one. But in that time, the eagles can just run around wherever they want. So Rayzor now going to place the TC on the right-hand side, but the eagles are heading straight there. And there's so many eagles. 19 military on the field for Zain compared to Rayzor's 4.
And Zain, normally in this position, like when you're going for a forward siege, GG is called by Zain, by Rayzor. But normally you go for like a mangonel first or something like that. But in this position where you're so far ahead, you can just go for
just
a
went the ram. Yeah. the get out of my game ram. GG's. Well played by Zain. Well played by Rayzor as well. We knew it was going to be tough for him to wall the front. But I feel like this is kind of the mistake that cost him the game. He did some great walling up to that point, but like you said, it was quite greedy play. But greed in the sense that didn't really achieve him any advantage over his opponent. So nice use of the options that Aztecs have as well. Sadly, we didn't get to see the Burgundian masterpiece, but we will.
It's going to be Mudflow, but it's not quite what I expected from Zain. I mean, Indians is a good second option in his draft, I'd imagine. But I still think Khmer's the better of the picks in his draft.
So while Shadow jumps in and let me know when you are in, we're going to be catching up to live time, and Shadow is as well. So this is Mudflow, Hidden Cup 4 Mudflow. I described it as, I think this was the one I described as kind of a half Bog Islands party in the middle, a little bit of a party on the outside as well. Zain over here in the green has chosen Indians. There is shortfish around the TC, but no, not even shortfish, that's just regular deep fish. So I don't think there is shortfish on this map. That won't be the reason for his pick. There must be another reason, right?
It benefits deep fish as well.
Oh, today I learned.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. You're the brains of this operation.
I'm 99.9% sure that it benefits deep fish as well.
thought it, I don't know. I trust you. I thought it was just shellfish, but you are the brains here. Regardless.
We'll find out if I completely
wrong. Zain is Indian's left-hand side. Right-hand side we have Rayzor. This is Rayzor's home map, and he's picked Chinese.
Do you know why you picked Chinese on this map?
Shadow, I don't ever know why anybody picks anything. I don't even know why I pick certain.
I give you credit for it, Little Trouble. I've seen you. I know you got the brains. But the reason you want to pick Chinese on this map if you can is because you don't have nearly as much idle time due to the villagers being able to collect the shorefish or the fish in this case straight away.
You know why else Chinese is amazing? Because they get heavy demolition ships.
Oh, true.
Hey.
And they have double the HP.
Exactly. The real reason. Sorry, go on though.
Oh no, absolutely. But yeah, I still kind of have to question Indians here over Khmer. I think if you don't have Khmer, Indian's perfectly good pick on this map.
Yeah, okay.
But Khmer, with the house hopping, does make it so that it's much less punishable for you. Although, if we do see Zain get into the Indian camels, obviously they are slightly better than the Chinese ones. Not by a huge amount, though.
I really love the bonus that they get against buildings, though. Oh yeah, up with 21 pop.
Both players
sorry,
are really
Rayzor 21 pop. Zain 19 pop. Okay. He's got a plan, the man with a plan. Hello, Django. Is this a low elo Tony? No. Far from it. These are... No, Django didn't say that. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him, but no. These are very, very good players. Zain and Rayzor, both from Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. They are like 1900 2K.
And they both had upsets in the semifinals, as Little Trouble pointed out earlier, to get here. So so they're obviously in their peak at the moment. Yeah,
playing very, very well. And we did see that game 1 went out to game 2 on Mudflow. Both players on their way up to the feudal age here, walling in the woodlines, which is nice to see. Well, I don't know. So Zain had placed the palisades and then was like, nah.
Who needs some? Oh, I actually think I see what Zain's planning here. He's not planning to wall in the woodline fully just yet. I think he's planning to wall it out to land. So that okay, maybe not. I'm completely wrong. But,
you know the rules of casting, Shadow. As soon as you say something, the players prove you wrong, like in the moment.
Absolutely. But yeah, I was gonna say, because if you wall it out to the land, then demo ships aren't as much of a problem. Obviously, on this map, you don't see demos like straight away usually, but you often will see the demos out at some point.
I'd kind of love to just see insta demos. That'd be a strat. How did he get Chinese? Yes, yeah, Django, we were thinking that too. At the draft stage, from memory, Zain banned Malay, Rayzor banned Mayans, thank you. And then Zain's first pick was Japanese, so he didn't ban Chinese, he didn't pick it himself, he let it go to Rayzor for free. So Rayzor's probably pretty damn happy with that. And we see scouts on the field, spears on the field for both players, pretty even at this point, both with 5 military, really similar opening, but Zain went up with less pop.
And the tiger getting some value there for
Let's go. Guy
I love
on
it when
his
Guy
side.
gets involved.
Seriously, yeah. Don't kill him!
How dare they?
How dare they? Yeah. What I really like here that Rayzor's done is shift Q palisades for when he finishes chopping that tree.
Oh, it's such a small thing, but it's
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah, little things like that, I love to see it. So Zain scouts and spears moving forward against Rayzor now, but Rayzor's woodline is safe. His vills around the TC don't have too far to go, and he's placing the archery range now. So scouts and a range opening as he moves to gold. So it'll be scouts to archers, which I love to see.
I think it's a really good plan. I'm surprised how early the move is onto archers, but I'm thinking here for Rayzor, it's not so much about getting many archers out, it's just about getting a couple so you can deal with the spears.
Exactly. And now a little to and fro as the scouts from Rayzor move into Zain's base, but he's got 4 at home. Sadly, doesn't have those
surprised to see
house
Zain
bombs.
go for a bloodlines play here, honestly.
There's the first archer queued up.
I think I don't know, the thing with archers here is you don't have the mobility.
Yes,
and on a map
but
like
if
this, mobility is king.
Yeah, but if you do manage to move them forward, you can do so much damage, like be so pesky against the wood lines that are walled in.
That is very true. Although I'd almost consider more going for a tower in that situation rather than archers, because you will want fletching here as well as Rayzor. Although for the first couple of pickoffs, they do have that bonus damage against spears, so it can make these fights very one-sided until Zain either decides to commit to going for bloodlines or for some skirmishes. I mean, Rayzor's going for that top.
Let's go, Rayzor with the dock. And the military advantage, 14-7. Here go the scouts. Ooh, no, they both back off. I think Zain could have taken that fight there, but he has to be very careful of the spears from Rayzor.
And rain coming down now for Zain, and we're also getting confirmation on the fisherman thing. Thank you guys for confirming that.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, what was the result?
I was like thinking I had heard about it before, but I was
thanks
like,
for checking in.
it doesn't sound right in this situation.
What was the result?
That the Indian the fish bonus, because villagers are treated as fishermen, it applies to them as well.
So it is for deep fish as well?
Yeah.
Oh,
Zain taking a brutal fight against those spearmen.
That was really good from Rayzor.
I don't know if we could call that a fight, it's more a massacre.
Yeah, it was more so Zain's scouts just didn't move in time. Shame for him, and one archer, two spearmen. The archer kind of moving into his death there against the spearmen, but now the others move in to help him out. It'll be fine for Rayzor, who will maintain his military advantage as he places more farms. It's all happening. He's got the dock, but I don't see anything happening with the dock. But speaking of a tower, Zain did place one on his woodline. He must have heard me.
I feel like he had to, but then I don't necessarily like the position of it. Because the thing is that if Rayzor sees this and he's like, cool, that tower doesn't really stop me from placing a tower to deny the wood.
Yeah.
Like normally when you place a tower like this, you want it really close to the front of the wood line just in case, you know, the archers want to come play or a tower wants to come play.
Yeah, so I see one scum on the field from Zain. I really love this game so far. It's no, never mind. No, from Zain. Yeah. Wait. No. It's in the range. It's in the range. So there is another one. Okay. Hiding. Smart move. And now I've completely forgotten what I was going to say. I see an overchop in Zain's woodline though. No, just as he fixed it. Okay, very good.
Sorry, it's in the form, I assumed Zain was going to patch it up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But Rayz is looking like in a very good position. This is kind of what you were saying before about the archers that can be very pesky. If you can get away with it.
Oh,
I think it is a little risky.
North of Zain's base, the scouts got on the villagers who were chasing the spears and the archer, but now they're so far from home. I don't see if one vill goes down. Two vills go down there. That
Absolutely worth it for Rayzor. Even if he lost all of the spears there, that would have 100% been worth it for him there.
Yeah, and now he's denied those farms. So luckily for Zain, he does have the farms to the south of his TC still safe. Getting some good hits on the scout there. Now his spears are out of position.
Slowly
so
stabilizing, but yeah, this is actually a really good fight for Zain. I think.
Well,
maybe.
It looked to be, but
I think there's a couple of archers behind it.
Yeah, and that gave the spears time to move in.
A little bit.
So now there's some weak villagers going back to the farms up north. Holy moly.
And Rayzor is adding a galley, and the thing is, as we were saying before, this tower it's not bad, but it's not
good. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So one galley basically denies half the wood, and it just needs to sit on the edge, honestly. And then cleaning up that one galley, you either have to invest into a dock and a fire, or you have to get lucky with some scouts and either some scouts and some spears or something like that.
Can I just say, by the way, remember my Omega prediction said that Game 2 would be... Oh no, I didn't say it would be Mudflow. I said that was Game 3. Never mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, oops.
Never mind. I said Rayzor would win Mudflow though. I remember that.
Absolutely.
So,
I just think it was a massive mistake from Zain to allow Chinese to get through.
Yeah.
Unbanned and
there's still a hole here, by the way, in the South Wood line. That hasn't been patched. Kind of tried to patch it. But anyway, the galley's there. It doesn't need a hole to
So
get in.
annoying for Zain.
Yeah. And
Like,
Rayzor's
do you just like send the vills and just whack it down with the villagers?
tempting, honestly. I'm really impressed with how Rayzor's using his military. He's moving around constantly and he's forcing Zain to chase him. So now the game is in his control. He's dictating the pace. Archer's doing well. Skirm's fighting against the scout instead of the archers. For now.
I think Zane's just getting a little bit overwhelmed too, and I think that makes sense with everything that's going on. He's also got a 5 villager deficit right now, and not moved on to gold just yet, so he won't be clicking up anytime soon, or going for bloodlines. I think that was kind of one of the win conditions he could have had here, was if he kept his scout numbers alive and got to bloodlines. Yes, even if Rayzor makes a couple of spears, you can slowly pick off the bloodline scouts, but the bloodline scouts can overwhelm you.
Oh, another field pick just before that archer goes down. Holy moly, I think Razor's on fire right here. He's forced Zain to move his woodline. Now he can send new scouts, new archers straight there. Oh yeah, another with the galley. Oh my gosh.
And another one in the woodline as well. And Razor gonna be winning game 2.
Holy moly, that was great. I really, really loved that game. And I'm happy to see
I can't blame him.
You go on.
Sorry, as I say, I can't blame Zain for resigning at that point. It's just, it's one of those maps that's so tilting.
Completely, yeah. And Razor did play this map very well. Like he invested in the dock, invested in the galley, went for the early archery range. I really think he played this well, and that's really nice to see because game 1 seemed more one-sided. So I was kind of thinking, oh man, like we're gonna have a sweep here, like that's what chat was saying, you know, they're all backing Zain. But Razor in this game showed that he could absolutely step up.
100%. And you can see in the KD as well, it wasn't like it was, like I'm not saying that Zain got stomped, but it was very dominant from Razor, 42 to 25 in favor of him, and army high of 17 in feudal age.
I can't remember how to get the timeline up in Capture Range.
It is. Let me just double check I got this right.
Control
Shift S. Oh, sorry.
Control
Alt S.
Yeah.
There we go.
I tried every other combination, but without Alt. Yeah. So there's the timeline there. Really good game from Razor, and I think, honestly, it's smart of Zain to resign at this point. I think, considering the point at which Razor resigned in game 1, and compare that to where Zain resigned at this point, you have to remember, everybody, that it's a best of 7, and you don't want to have 7 potentially really long games because it's exhausting for the players. They're just going back to back, one after another. So if you realize, okay, yes, I am dead, you kind of want to just let that one go. Next game, keep your energy up.
Although one of the things you can do if you're not so much necessarily dragging it out, but if you are playing in a tournament, sometimes you'll want the first game or 2 to go on a little bit longer, just so you warm up a little bit and try and see how your opponent's playing that day as well.
That is true. Yeah, good point. Alrighty, we will go to game 3. But let me catch up to live time. We can talk about the civs, we can talk about the map. This is called High Tides. It is quite a beautiful looking map, to be honest. I've never played it myself. Have you, Shadow?
No. I would love to say yes, because it actually looks like a really fun hybrid map to play. But I've never played it myself. From what I've seen of it though, it is very shit showy. Like, it starts off pretty standard water play. Someone wins water, and then the other player usually goes for like an all-in land aggression to try and even things out a little bit. And Axis is saying it's a pain to play, so...
Okay.
It does look like a pain to play as well, like, especially if you're not used to playing hybrids. And the thing is that it's very hard to wall as well on land, so on a lot of hybrid maps, you do sort of want to try and get walled behind whatever build you're doing. But on this sort of map, good luck walling all the hills, the wood lines being so far apart.
Yeah.
It did see Flightless go for a very heavy walling approach, and it almost paid off for him. He just didn't make enough land military, if I'm not mistaken, in his set. But in general, I don't know. I think committing too much to walls here and not enough to land military is always going to end
Thanks
you
for
in
checking
hot
in.
water.
I'm still a piece of
Yeah,
garbage.
like it is possible to wall perhaps Razor's base more so than Zane's. But you're right, it would be a big commitment, and by the time it takes to get all those walls up, your opponent could be feudal, could have some scouts on the field. You just it's quite risky to bank on that happening.
What do you think of the gold placements for both players? Like, I'm looking at them and it's, at a glance, half of Zane's golds are halfway towards Rayzor.
Well, yes, but I don't know. I feel like it's somewhat even in a sense. Razor's...
Wait, that's Rayzor's gold.
Yeah, that's Razor's
I thought that was
gold.
Zane's gold.
Oh god, that'd be terrible. No, that's Razor's gold. This one out here, it's so far away. Little scout engagement up top, by the way, and then we'll go back to the golds. But there's a Vil from Rayzor coming up. I don't think it'll make it in time. If it does, then it could win this fight. Go, 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 little dude. Come on. Yeah, and so Zain runs.
Realizing, so it'll be pretty much even there. But the difference here is that Zane's dock is going up a decent amount earlier than Rayzor's.
Yeah. So Razor's secondary gold is so far away. It's so far away. But he does have the other two in a better spot. Zain, on the other hand, has two towards his opponent, and one that's at the back, but that's also quite far away. So I don't really have a side that I would prefer. Probably Rayzor, just because his main gold is in a better spot.
I would agree with that. It's just, I think the only downside to Rayzor's gold there is that he is on that little bit of a hill.
Yeah.
But I think you can commit to walling that between those two wood lines and the third one to the right-hand side, and be pretty confident that you can defend this gold at least in feud late quite comfortably.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. I would definitely try and wall in a way that keeps that gold safe, just like you said, cross there, and then you could even just do it into your TC like Rayzor did in game 1, if he felt it necessary. So Zain taking some more hits by the TC. Actually, I don't know if he was hit by it, but he at least knows exactly where Rayzor is. Yeah, I think so too, based on his HP. Both scouts on 12 HP. And Rayzor now going to push in some D. I really like this move because he scouts low HP. He doesn't want to run into a TC himself. I'll check his scouting now too, but I think it's nice just so he can use his scout still to get some value out of it. Push the deer in. I love that there's 3 zebras and 1 ostrich, by the way.
And most of the hidden cup maps have that sort of thing. I absolutely love it.
Never noticed.
I know that the hidden cup 4 hideout has, I think it's like 2 zebras and an ostrich or something like that.
They're friends.
Or a deer or something. I can't remember the exact numbers, but they just mix and match them a little bit, which is kind of cute.
Yeah. So what I don't like for Rayzor is that he doesn't have any scouting. Like, he hasn't even found a house or anything. Like, maybe he just wants to avoid a TC, but he hasn't found anything. He doesn't know where Zain is. But I suppose with the map, it's easy enough to predict.
And Zane's going for barracks. These are going to be forward villages for...
Ooh,
I was
towers?
thinking maybe towers. So the thing is here, what you can do if you don't really want to play with too much water here is you can make a couple of fires, not over-invest in land, just try and make your opponent commit more to water, and then
switch it up.
surprise your opponent really with the men-at-arms and the archers.
Yeah.
Rayzor is being diligent in sending the scout forward now, but by the time he realizes the men-at-arms might already be in his base if he's unfortunate.
Yeah, if he even scouts the barracks, he's seen a little bit of a gold pile, but I think he's going the long way around. Like I said, it's easy enough to predict where the opponent's going to be on this map, High Tides, but we do see the 3rd militia coming from Zain.
Let's not forget these are Japanese men-at-arms that can do so much damage if you're not ready for them. And the thing is here that Zain could theoretically win water as well as land in the situation. If he manages to force Rayzor off gold long enough for these men-at-arms, then all of a sudden, he's got 2 docks, but guess what? Neither of those docks are producing with no gold.
Yes. So both players up to feudal now. It is 28 population for Zain, 25 now for Rayzor. And he knows exactly where to send them. He's got to get the scout out of the way, and he does that. Now the villagers are in a tricky spot as men-at-arms hits. Right there, runs the scout away. Good reaction. Ooh, that's close. One vil goes down. There's been no... Oh, there's the quick wall reaction. Does go up just in time.
And then good luck quick walling this gold. Like, on a hill, it's so
Oh,
hard
yeah.
to wall that.
Yes. And it's actually Zain that's also getting the first hit on Rayzor's Fire Galley. So that's going to be a good head start there for Zain. Obviously, Rayzor having the 2 docks is going to help him, but like you said, if he doesn't have gold, it's not going to be very good for his docks. He does have 3 villagers safe there now.
So with 3 villagers on gold, he should be able to keep at least one of those docks running. The second one will be a bit patchy. Honestly, I think for Zain, I wouldn't be surprised to see him adding a second dock somewhat soon, though. These Japanese fishing ships do survive very easily. Range coming down for Rayzor, though. I mean, I wouldn't say it's necessarily late. It is as early as you could get it, but it is unfortunate at the timing of it. And Zain already adding an archer.
Yeah, and he's doing well up top of the docks as well. Rayzor's
Although it
villager
looks
not repairing.
But because the dock's in the way, Zane's not actually doing any damage to Rayzor's fire galley. Really nice
rubbish.
little place there.
Oh my god. I've never actually seen that. Wow, there we go. Okay, sneaky. Very sneaky indeed. The archer moves forward just in time to stop that wall down left of Rayzor's base going up, and now the militia are going to get another pick here, surely. Forcing the gold to be evacuated. Yeah. Oh.
That village is looking very tasty for the metal armor. I think it might just escape.
Come
Honestly,
on.
for Zain, I don't...
Hit it! Yeah,
I mean, he
there we
gets
go.
the kill, it ends up being worth it, but I honestly don't know if I would have risked it.
Yeah, and he's taking so much damage on the men at arm anyway.
And
Great
the
quick walls
blacksmith,
again.
yes, it goes up, but there is 2 villagers getting idle over there. Rayzor has 5 idle villagers at the moment. Water is looking like Rayzor's game for the moment, but with land snowballing so far in Zane's advantage, I don't like this position for Rayzor at all.
Yeah, it's interesting because Zane's doing in this game kind of what Rayzor did in the last game. And he's doing it really well, but this game might be trickier for Rayzor to defend because of these hills everywhere, and he's placing a defensive tower on the berries, will somewhat protect that wood line as well.
Can we just talk about how long this fishing ship is gonna last? against
Yes,
this
seriously.
fire galley? It's taking almost no damage. And a tower going
Thank you,
down on the...
boy.
Oh, I don't like this tower.
The one on the berries?
Like, I understand wanting to keep the berries safe, but I would much rather have a tower on this back gold and wood line if needed.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, Rayzor has no access to gold. And Zain, if he keeps his army mobile, he can, you know, he can keep denying the golds and the wood lines. Whereas you can always make it so you can get more food. And especially as Rayzor is currently ahead in the water, I'm actually kind of surprised that Zain hasn't invested more into water. But he has got one
fire galley
large
going.
galley.
Where's it going? Yeah, you can tell their focus is everywhere, both players. He's trying to break in on the wood line, the archer's fighting back against the skirms who are going to get knocked down, they're such low HP. So they could break into this wood line, and then that's 6 vills, 3 of which are already low HP, that are in trouble.
And now the archer can just be harassing that villager on the hill. I mean, it will take less damage because it's on a hill. But yeah, 1 villager's going to be going down now.
Oh, you
possibly
can't
2 or
roll it, that was
3.
so weird. Did you see the villagers just didn't go to the house? Another vill goes down.
They're on strike little trouble. They've had enough.
I
of
know,
this
they
abuse.
have. I don't blame them. Dear, such a good position for Zane's army to be sitting in, and Rayzor forcing having to place a market down. He would have
both
scouted
players
that gold at the
losing
back, I
their
reckon.
fish.
Oh, one person.
14 farms to 8. So Zain currently also with the farming advantage. So even though Rayzor has had these fishing ships working a little bit longer, Zain is going to be up significantly earlier here.
And
with
Shadow,
the
this
better
is the
economy.
issue with that tower that he placed. Just like you said, it doesn't really help with the wood line, doesn't really help with the gold.
This is the sort of tower you place if you're, let's say you're playing a raid, you've got forward berries and your opponent's going from men at arms towers. That's the tower you place.
Yeah.
You don't place that tower on a map like this, I don't think, without getting punished. And we see now, luckily for Japanese, oh, this is Malians, but even for Malians, you do have these cheaper buildings anyway, so it's not as bad as it could be. But Zain on the way up to Castle Age.
Yeah, 37 villages to 36, so relatively even, surprisingly, because you look at the Eco KD and it's 11 kills for Zain, 3 deaths, and they're just the fishing ships. There's been no pressure put on Zane's base, and because of that, look at him putting the buildings forward. He's going double stable. I love that he's just sent the Villa out, just place them there. They're going to get to Rayzor sooner. I love it.
And the best thing here for Zain is, so Rayzor's currently on skirms number 1, number 2. This tower is not in a position that you can actually defend. Not against archers, let alone knights.
Yeah.
And there's so much exposed economy here for Rayzor. Rayzor is using that market to try and get up a little bit sooner, but it is not looking good for him right now. And Zain also now taking control on the water.
Yeah.
And Exorcist regretting his decision to bet on Rayzor. Or not bet on Zain, possibly. Rayzor almost on the way up now. Probably gonna be it's gonna be 2 minutes behind with Bloodlines and +1 defense in for Zain. Like, the skirms already do nothing against the Knights, let alone now.
Yeah,
He does at least see them, so now he has the scouting information to know, okay, there's gonna be Knights in my base pretty soon.
Yeah.
I think Zain just gets +2 defense on the Knights and just starts playing how many dead villagers do you want?
I'm so interested in the sending the skirms into the woodline thing here from Rayzor. Because
it's very cheeky.
It's so cheeky. Like, I don't know, they're not gonna do much damage to villagers. They probably would have been, like, the villagers they're gonna walk laps around this woodline. It's causing idle time. Okay, so that's one thing. It's also causing any knights to stay home a little longer. That's another thing, sure. But it is also just throwing 5 skirmishes for free. Suppose he figured he was gonna lose them anyway. It's just very interesting.
I don't necessarily know that he needed to send them, like, all forward. I would have sent, like, maybe 2 or 3 of them forward.
I just sent one to scout.
Forward.
Just one to scout.
One to scout and maybe just get some attack notifications for Zain.
Yeah, so Zain placing his second TC up north. We do have a knight already in the base of Rayzor, and the Expo are there as well. They've already got Bodkin.
The thing is, though, Rayzor is going for double stable here, and double stable camels will clean up everything here. I'll accept the crossbows, but there isn't that many crossbows. So I think Rayzor might be able to stabilize.
Stabilize! Stabilize, Shadow!
Oh, he hasn't got any. I think if he had a little bit more wood in the bank, maybe.
Well, he's got nobody on wood at the moment. It is very, very tricky here. That's a lot of Expo coming in, 3 knights as well. They just walk straight past the tower. They don't even care. They've barely taken damage, the Expo, so they're going to now go and bother the gold again. He knows where to hit.
Rayzor is getting more knight numbers out than Zain. Zain currently does have the knight lead, but both of Rayzor's knight stables working. Rayzor's only got 1 of them working. Sorry, Zain only had 1 of them working.
Yeah, but Rayzor's only got 1 built at this stage. Oh, look at the villagers. They're going on a mission.
It must call GG, right? If you're at this point where you're sending 26 villagers to the gold, and you can't even place a TC there to protect it.
Yeah, not even. He's got 4 wood. Like, there's no chance that he'll be getting a TC for protection anytime soon. Really nothing. He can't even quick wall to save those vills, and the knights are straight in.
Like, you have to vill fight this with the knights, and it's just.
I know, it's
so
still ugly. It's 35 villagers compared to Zain's 48. Zain placing his 3rd TC on the right-hand side now. Completely untouched at home. Really dominant game here from Zain. Okay, the good news is Rayzor did wall there.
For Rayzor right now, though, just like being in this position where you're just dead at this point.
You're
just
a
trying
sitting
to see
duck.
if you can get...
Yeah. Oh, it's open at the front as well. Oh, rough.
I don't know if that was a hole or what it was. Because I know the crossbow punched a hole in the north, but that's not been pretty much.
Maybe someone broke
And he still is open at the very back. And it looks like Zain's gonna try and get these crossbow to safety. And Rayzor finally back onto wood with those 4 on wood and 4 on farms. So wood has been market economy for
It's gonna be
Rayzor.
rough. Yeah, the Expo will just have to kind of try and run, do what damage they can. Good thing for Rayzor is he does have his +2 in. Zain can't say the same just yet, but he's already going for a monk. He's already got a monk on the field somewhere.
And he's got the 3 TC echoes. Like, he's not even a little bit ahead right now. He's 26 villages ahead. He can stop build production for the next 20 minutes and still be ahead, I think, in build numbers.
Yeah, and he's placing him in the barracks now. That's great. So he's going to add some pikemen? But he's healing up his knights. I love to see that. Getting some archers still at home, and Rayzor moving out with a siege workshop placed up top, but he just doesn't have the resources. It's almost double the villager count.
I mean, I think this is what you have to do as Rayzor. Like, you kind of have to just do an all-in here. You know you're super far behind, so you just get as many knights in as you can.
Yeah.
And then go for a siege workshop and try and snowball an advantage, but at this point, I think Rayzor's gonna be buying every single mangonel with gold.
Yeah, and if he loses that gold as well again, which is possible. Zain's on 19 military, Rayzor on 12. Good reaction from Zain to not let those knights get in, because they would knock out some villages on Zain's gold. But his economy is peachy. He is in a fine spot. Pikeman tech being clicked. Just still the one monk, one other in the queue. So 2 monks on the field now, might get some converts. We'll try at least.
This is perfect for Zain. Like, Japanese pikemen are already so strong, and he's the thing is, if you tech pikemen in early castle age, it's such a strain in your economy. But if you get to take it at this point, Zain's already set up 3 TC eco. It's already going really nicely for him. Would love to see +1 defense coming in on these pikemen though. But it's just a position that I almost don't think I might regret saying this, but I don't think you can throw this as Zain.
Careful, don't jinx it. Yeah, I love that the monks are at least maybe trying to scare off the knights, but with these numbers, the monk's not too scary. With the mangonel taking the shot there, I'd really love to see Zain making use of his water control, bothering those 2 docks from Rayzor and taking some fish. But I can totally understand that both players' focus is completely on land at this stage.
I was not saying before, like, if you have +1 defense, these pikemen will be surviving a lot longer. Obviously, Zain getting the better trade anyway, but now, Rayzor calling the GG.
Yeah. Okay, you didn't jinx it for Zain. That's a relief. Oh, thank you for doing that, Salt.
It's a bit rough for Rayzor, honestly, after a bit of a rough game for Zain. So at least they're taking it in turns to have the.
Yeah, that is good to see. Very generous of the players. It's nice. Wow, that was a struggle for Rayzor. That was just very tough.
I don't necessarily think Rayzor played it badly. I think Zain just played it amazingly.
Really well.
Like, getting that meta arm play straight away. Like, I don't think you would ever really think that the Japanese player is going to go for that straight away meta arm play and not commit so much to water. And then, even though Zain ended up lost his fishing ships, he ended up winning water overall just from denying so many resources.
Yeah, that's right.
Or the gold collected for Rayzor is actually more than what Zain collected in gold.
Bloody hell. Oh yeah, I suppose because he was probably like, oh shit, I've got like 20 idle villagers right now. That wood line's denied, that wood line's denied, that gold's not safe, let's just send them all to the back gold, and that's where they stayed for a big part of the game. So 3.5k gold collected for Rayzor. It's quite amusing. But massive villager lead for Zain, sitting pretty on 3 TCs. GG. We go to game 4.